that nonsense from happening there. Had noise playing in the background. Nobody needs that in the morning. Nobody. So I'm Graham, POC Gamer, and this is the Thursday morning map stream. So before we get started, you can find me on social media as POC Gamer or Panzerlion all over the place. There's links to my stuff everywhere. Morning. Um, Big shout out to my Coffee and Patreon supporters, and if you're considering supporting me, please do. It helps make all this possible. And yeah, let's get into it. Let's have some fun today. So, last day, we left off. I was talking about I was going to redo this area up here, and I'm still going to. We're going to do some work down here, and we're going to keep developing our little city area here. So it's going to be pretty good. But before I get started on that, I'm just going to start locking stuff in place, because I like how the ground looks, and I do not want to have to deal with that. I'm about to sneeze. Hang on. Okay. I hope that wasn't too bad for everybody. Ugh. Serve me right going outside when it's dusty. I don't even have allergies or anything. It's just there's so much dust in the air here right now. One of the joys of Canada is that after the winter, especially up where you get snow, the roads are just covered in sand from all the sanders, and it is just, you roll from this into a heavy pollen season, and in bad years you get sand and dust, pollen, then smoke, all one after another. Lock all that in. That's all good. So, yeah. Lock all these selections. Springtime, snowfall time. Yeah. Yeah, we've been having that too. It's weird. It's where I live in the Okanagan. We haven't really had later snows like this for a long time, which is, yet another sign of climate change. But yeah, we're having it this year like we've been having intermittent snows all through February, which is good in the sense that it means that there's likely going to be less chance of fire. But that's a rough trade-off, considering that people can't appear to remember how to drive in the snow. Like, there's no snow for a few days, and suddenly everyone just forgets. Like, how does snow work? I can't just stomp on my brakes? Let's see, so Smithy, the brewery, carpentry. Okay, so I got a whole little plan for this area up here. Oh. I'll come back to that. Okay. So let's get into the stamps here. desert. Alright. Hey, I just need to blow my nose here. Hang on a moment. I'm just going to mute myself. Oh, that is so much better. There's nothing worse than trying to do something where you have that feeling in your nose that. Ugh. Okay, so what we're going to do, we are going to lay out. We're going to throw down a runesmith. I'm just going to zoom in and see if there's an obvious. There's no real obvious front door with the runesmith. Let's see, so what we do. So I'm going to guess maybe that's the front door there. Or entrance. There we go. Nice. Alright. Is my sound alright this morning? I did some adjustments on stuff. I hope that it's working well. Yeah. Okay. Alchemist. Definitely need an alchemist shop. Probably need a few alchemy shops. Where to put it though? I like the idea of the alchemy shop being close to the close to this district. There we go. That up a few layers. Okay, so we'll move this down a few layers. There we go. So alchemy should. Oh. Move that down a bit. There we go. Yeah. How big are these sphinxes? Oh, that is a very reasonable size. Okay. Let me make use of one of those. Right, and you get a crane now. Up a couple layers. Up a couple layers. There we are. Now we'll come over here. So this is that whole making it make sense thing now. So Noble desert buildings. No. I like how there's canopies. I'm going to spread some of those around after when I'm done. Let's look at our medium buildings. What we've got here. Stamps, and we need stamps, open catalog, there we are. Cities, where is it? It's all the desert stuff. Oh, terrace gardens? What? Definitely going to be hitting up terrace gardens. That is the thing that's going to happen. That is fantastic, because I could use that as a boundary and then have little crop growing areas. Yeah, that works really well, but not for what I need right now. Okay, so we do have carts there. Do we have carts anywhere else? That's all elf stuff. Foliage. So, oh, got palm trees down there. Is that a different palm tree? Oh, simple palm trees versus... Or there's two different species of palm tree. So, yeah. This is something I was going to mention later, but this is a good time to bring it up, and that is with Incarnate, they have simple foliage, and then they'll have more complex foliage. And you can only use one if you want, and that's fine. It works out perfectly well. But if you mix and match them, it can create a better feeling of biodiversity on your map. So your map feels a little bit more, feels a little less like a video game, like an old video game, and more like a more practical location. As you can see, like these, the difference between them isn't a whole lot. Like you can zoom in, there's not a whole lot of difference going on there. Like they both have shading effects on them, a little bit different shades of green, and spikier looking leaves. But when you mix it like that, it looks like a nice mix of trees. So it gets rid of that sort of monoculture feel of forested areas. And it also, believe it or not, opens up some role-playing opportunities as well. And it does that by letting you designate. You could say, oh, well, these palm trees are just sort of like regular palm trees that they have around. It's just a naturally occurring tree. They use the wood or whatever. You can say, oh, but these ones, maybe there's berries. Maybe they can make palm wine from it. Or maybe one's palm wine and one produces like palm sugar or something like that. And it gives a bit more depth to the area and lays some basic foundations for economy and how people survive in the area. Like, there's so many underrated trees out there. Birch is a big one because people don't think about birch a lot, but the amount of stuff you can make with birch is mind-blowing. I remember I had a game master once who was like, "Oh yeah, it's just a birch forest. There's nothing really there." And we spent like the next 2 sessions creating all the birch stuff. We were getting syrup from them. We like established like birch bark like canoes. It was nuts. It's fun. Game master was a little bit frustrated with us, but that's okay. That's all the haunted stuff. That's all the gothic stuff. And I've got an idea for a gothic map that's going to be pretty cool. That's all the houses, ruins. Let's see here. No, exactly. No forest is just a forest. All forests are definitely something else. They've destroyed stadiums. Destroyed Artist Guild. Again, this is one of those lack of one-for-one issues in that all these little destroyed buildings are all from the European patterned build set. So they don't help a lot. Special buildings, yeah, we already got most of these. Ooh, big cliffs. Might play around with those later. A whole Arctic theme going on. Nice. Alright. Okay, I'm going to have to make this up as I go along a little bit. I don't need shipyards. Or a lighthouse. Although it would be funny to... Maybe I will put a lighthouse down. How big is it? You know what? I like that idea. That there's a lighthouse in the desert by this oasis. And I think I'm going to have it... The idea behind it will be that it's actually signaling the presence of the oasis. And let's give it a little dock. And a boat. Boat, so we'll need another dock. Boat, where's another dock? There it is. Zoom right in. And come down here. There we go. I have no idea whether or not... hey, how's it going? Oh, that was turned down. Maybe that was affecting my volume. Let's see here. I wonder how good palmwood actually is for building boats. I have no idea. Hey, where are those? Noble desert blocks. I'm going to throw a few more of those down. Why is it thinking? There it is. Did I actually do those at 100%? I did. Okay. Just like to make sure before I start throwing more stamps down. And got our domed buildings. There we go. So I've got lots of homes for people, but let's throw down some more roadways. Some of those. A few of those, yeah. That should be enough to get started. At least try to get these things fit properly. Come on. There we go. Oh, that worked out nicely. Alright, got some adjustments going here. There we go. Nice. So I was digging through my pile of old Cyberpunk 2020 stuff the other day, and I found my the Solo of Fortune 2. So they were kind of parodying, well, not kind of, they were absolutely parodying Soldier of Fortune magazine back in the day with Cyberpunk, and it was called Solo Fortune, and it was a cool thing. It was kind of a cross between like broad strokes world update, an NPC index, some new equipment, and like some general world building and stuff. Really handy, but like I hope that they, pardon me, I hope that they resurrect the Solo Fortune concept because it was really good. It was an easy way to approach the setting. But anyways, so why am I talking about it? Because inside there is an interview with Adam Smasher. There's a few interviews in it with different edge runners of different backgrounds, capabilities, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's an interview with Adam Smasher. Who Went from being kind of an irritating enemy in the 2077 game to being like one of the most hated villains on the face of the planet after some spoilers for Cyberpunk Edge Runners after what he did to Rebecca. Um, it was like an immediate fan favorite character. Anyways, and it's interesting to see how his character has evolved. And it's something that's sort of like it falls by the wayside a lot of the time with like a lot of game companies and world builders and stuff like that. And that's they'll create an NPC and then just sort of leave them as is, like they're kind of like a snapshot forever. Like how they're presented is how they are, and that's the end of it. And this was really cool because it presents like a younger Atom Smasher. Um, and it's a really fascinating portrayal because, like, as if you're familiar with the character at all, Atom Smasher has zero empathy. Like in his stat line in the book, it actually says, "Ha, yeah." That's like written beside the empathy stat, and the implication of it is that he was already a monster prior to getting all of his cyberware put in, and so the humanity loss for it wasn't actually a significant event for him. It was just sort of like, oh yeah, I feel slightly less than I felt before. And this sort of also feeds into the whole, does cyberpsychosis exist? A question that Cyberpunk 2077 raised. Because you have characters like Atom Smasher who are apparently fully functional, despite having zero empathy and being known monsters. But the reason I bring the interview up is because it's a really cool, not just introduction to the character, but it gives you insight into why they are the way they are. And to be honest, to compare him to something from another game, he literally sounds like a Mechanicus from like 40K, like all about the machine and getting rid of like weak flesh and metal is strong, all that sort of stuff. And the thing is that he's incredibly like almost jovial about it. Like he's cheerful. It's just matter of fact conversation. It's not he doesn't feel like he's saying anything that's not already a given. And it really makes the interview, and it's like multiple pages, stand out because he'll describe, like, oh yeah, like this person did this, and I just couldn't get over like the pity that I felt for this person because they only had so much chrome, so I just shot them in the face and called it a day. And you're just like, whoa, what the, like that is like, how is that okay? But as he goes on to talk about it, like you see how his mind works, and it's really bizarre, and actually feeds into a concept that Mike Pondsmith brought up himself about cyberpsychosis and about how it's an aggregate of more things than just empathy. Like it's a combination of like cultures, self-perception, what you think is good, all that sort of thing. Like there's so much more to it than just like the one associated ability score. And it makes sense when you read this interview with Atom Smasher because he's exemplifying all of that. Like he's not, like quote unquote insane. Like he's not ranting, he's not raging, he's not, like, oh, the machine is great, all hail, blah blah blah. No, he's entirely coldly matter of fact about it all. And it got me thinking about more about the whole thing around whether or not cyberpsychosis was real. and really got me wondering because you have characters in like 2077, for example, Maelstrom, heavy, heavy cyberware to the point where when you're fighting them, some of them don't actually have like red blood inside of them anymore. They've got like synthetic blood, but they're not, for the most part, not cyber psycho. Not until other things seem to trigger it. For example, um, the one guy who goes cyber psycho, and it's only after the old boss stops being their boss because has been replaced. So yeah, really cool. I'm probably gonna incorporate it into a post or a video I've got coming up about cyberpunk lore and all that sort of good stuff. Because as I mentioned on the Facebook page there the other day, that I'm going to be dramatically, well, not dramatically, I'm going to cease covering a lot of D&D stuff in terms of like world building and other things like that, just because I don't want to feed their metrics anymore. And so I've been reading up a lot of Cyberpunk and Pathfinder. I've been reading up a lot about those, and it's actually nice. It's refreshing. It's good to, like, I was already vaguely familiar with both those. Okay, let's lay some buildings out here now. I was already vaguely familiar with both settings from other stuff, but at the same time, it is nice to be able to. Let's throw a couple of those down. Move down layers. Move those down layers. It's nice to be able to explore good world building after spending so long fighting with the nonsense that Wizards tries to pass off as world building these days. Like, I think I mentioned it before, but like the Mwangi Expanse book, I was actually at a point where I was starting to believe that, like, I was like, maybe this is just, maybe what D&D is doing is just how world building is now. Maybe it's just maybe I missed the memo, and maybe I'm just really old fashioned and looking for something that just doesn't exist anymore. And then I read the Mwangi Expanse book, and I'm like, oh, it's not me. It's not there is good world building still out there. And I think that comes back to something I've talked about before, and that's who Wizards has decided their target audience is with their work now. And the target audience used to be a lot broader. Like, they used to take into account, like, okay, people want to play in X setting, so they're going to want to know all about it and have information about it. And the new position that the new target audience that they appear to have adopted is a DM who is playing in an established setting, but who does sufficient homebrew and everything else like that they don't need a lot of specifics or heavy details. So basically, like, it's sort of, yeah, in their defense, not just Wizards. Yeah, there is a lot of dodgy world building going around, and I think a big part of it really depends on. Some of it is who the game is aiming for in the first place, and that's in the sense of, like, is it like a rules light, like lightweight game I mean, is this supposed to provide broad strokes overviews of things, or is it supposed to be a more more heavily detailed, or is it what you would expect it would be a more heavily detailed game? Got a few more trees. I really love planting trees in cities. It looks so nice. It's like that looks like an oasis, like an actual oasis. I'm gonna put some water right there. I'm gonna dig a hole. That needs to be a lot smaller. There we go. My activity watch reminding me that I need to be active. And yeah, not gonna happen for a bit. Sorry, watch. Okay, let's throw a palm tree down there. All right, now we're gonna open our catalog, and I'm not gonna put a thieves guild in because I don't think it's super appropriate. How big is the Grand Temple? 2 grand. Oh, the standard ziggurats. Oh, I like that. That's nice. Just connect it right up there. And I'm going to use a ziggurat on here somewhere. Oh, thank you. Yeah, this map is this is a lot of fun to create. Bathhouse over there. Let's throw another bathhouse. Put one there. Sorry, everybody. Oh. Oh. Thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah, I've even got an air purifier going in here to try to deal with all the dust that's in the air, and it is just not doing the trick today. Damn. All right. Oh. so we're going to just put that down to -4. Basically the bottom. So I am tired of adjusting that all the time. So one of those up there. Alright, so let's get adjusting here. Okay, so that connects that up to there. This can come up here. Flip. Flip. Nope. Other one. There we go. There we go. It's doing pretty good at linking all these up. Given the fact they're like little freeform hexagons, it has worked out much more nicely than I had anticipated it would. Well, I may change this piece out to a wooden bridge just to show that it's a bridge a little bit better. Flip that around. Yeah. So in the description for this map today, I was talking about making it make sense. And what I meant by that is that deserts tend to be... Oh, sorry, not deserts. All fantasy settings that involve cities tend to have the same issues. In that there'll be a beautiful city layout, but there's no infrastructure. Like just, there's no crops, no water, no garbage, nothing. So that's something that I'm going to try to address with this, because I mean, part of it is easy to deal with because as I said when I kicked off with this particular project, that it was going to be a high magic desert setting, so that makes life a little bit easier because there's magic is built into the explanation for how they're doing things right away. There we go. Actually, I need one of those. Did I put a 2-1 down? No, I didn't. I need one of these little 2 blocks. There we go. And I think a 3-piece will work for that. So I'm just linking up these little natural staircases to the higher areas. Ish. Single square. Okay, I need to move the... Yeah, I'm not so much worried about who designed the sewer systems as that there's a plan for the sewage. Okay, so we're going to unlock that. Now we're going to lock it again. Is that just missing part of it? It is. Oh. Okay, that's weird. I mean, it's could have got that adjusted. Everything looks a lot better, looks a lot sharper, but man, that was weird. It's kind of handy for this, though. Sure, maybe there was something there at some point. Yeah. Alright, let's see here. What else we got going on? Yeah, so we threw a bathhouse down there. There, that looks good. So a little bit of filler. That looks set. Oh, that looks ball. I like that. So I'll mix it up. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that now. I'm a victim of my own success. Oh, there we go. Now up here, I wanted to put a whole bunch of palm trees. And a whole bunch of simple palms. And so what I'm taking inspiration from this is many years ago I saw an absolutely fascinating map that an officer I knew had brought back with him from Rwanda. He'd been involved in the efforts there after all the bad stuff that went down in the 90s. And what was interesting was the particular map he had all the palm trees labeled on it. Like all of them. They all, I think it was they all had numbers associated with them. And we asked him about that. And he said it was because all the palm trees were owned. Somebody owned literally every single palm tree was accounted for. And the reason that they were accounted for was because they got palm oil and made palm wine with them. And so they had to have... that's an artisan's guild. That's going to come down here. What was this? That's a smithy. You'll figure that out. That's a brewery. We'll figure that out. Okay, so carpenter, that could be up there, and we'll put the brewery up there as well. So yeah, it was a whole cultural aspect of map making that, like, to my, like, wow, how old was I? I was like 20-something-year-old mind, was just mind-blowing. Like, it never occurred to me that trees could be so important that every single one would be labeled and accounted for to make sure that, you know, people knew whose tree it was, so that if it was damaged or anything else like that, you know, reparations could be paid, and all that other sorts of stuff. And so what I'm imagining for this area up here is that they have something very similar going on, where this area up here, they've got, you know, palm trees that they're growing for wood, and palm trees that are being grown for their oil, fruit. Do palm trees even have fruit? I'm going to look that up. Hang on a second. I'm just going to take a quick pause here to look up palm tree fruit. Okay, so yeah, there's coconuts, so coconut palms, obviously. Oh, I did not. Okay. Oh, wow. There's a lot of different fruits that come from different types of palm trees. Dates. Yeah, date palm. Oh, peach. Really? Peaches come from a type of palm tree? Acai? Really? That's wild. No way. Palms are sorts of... Animals come from... Okay, here we go. We've got the palm fact of the week. 10 common edible palm fruits. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, what do we got? Coconut palms, date palms, acai palms, peach palm. Wow, those are peaches. What? Peach palm. What are they? That it doesn't look anything like what we, like in the West North America, would consider to be a peach, but that explains so much. I was always so confused reading about reading stories that were set in. I was like, okay, that. Hey, if you have a chance to, that sounds fake like Florida. um, if you've never seen what a palm peach looks like, look at it. It is. That is wild. Okay. What else comes from peaches? Hey, snake palm. Oh yeah, snake. Yeah, I've seen snake berries before. Jelly palms, Chilean wine palm. Okay. Oil palms, beetle nut palms. The saw palmetto palm. What? Okay, that was a total deviation from the plan there. Sorry, I just went down a little palm tree. Uh like, oh yeah, okay, there's a lot going. Okay, we can do a lot with palm trees then. Like, obviously you're not going to have all the types of palm trees in one place. They all have different needs and everything else like that, but that was one of those cool little sidetracks that's led to some potential quality world building. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, they could be growing palms at an accelerated rate, um, using magic. I just had no idea there's so much stuff that came from palm trees, but that makes sense because palm trees do not exist naturally where I live, like, at all. Although oddly, palm trees will grow in British Columbia. There's even if you go down to specifically to Victoria, which is our the capital city of the our province's capital. Oh, if you go down to down there, then you will immediately encounter palm trees. Like people have palm trees growing in their backyards and stuff like that because it never gets cold enough down there to kill them. Yeah, so how I'm envisioning now is that yeah, they have all kinds of they've got their brewery up there, so it's not just going to be a brewery. That's going to be creating both palm wine and palm oil. And then I've got a little um, timber yard there, carpentry shop. Got a couple of cranes for lowering stuff down. Yeah, that's man stuff you learn. Then guarantee you, if I wasn't working on this project, there's no way that I would have thought to myself today, you know what? You should look up what what fruit palm trees have. It's almost as exciting as the first time I saw breadfruit, which my partner, she could not stop laughing. I was so excited. Because again, growing up in British Columbia, breadfruit is something that does not exist here. And we were in Hawaii. The palms are widely cultivated as a bonus to today's stream. Yeah. There's so many cool things. I remember when I was at archaeology field school, there were some I can't remember the name for it. Tree nerds. They were one of the archaeologists, or a couple of the archaeologists were working on how First Nations people used trees in the area, and it was really cool because like there had been some joint research with First Nations and stuff like that a few years prior that had discovered that cedars, like the iconic Pacific Northwest tree, was actually a late arrival. Like it arrived after people had come down the coast. Like there was like people were already established. Maybe arborists, well, kind of, but they were still archaeologists, so I don't know what the right term for that was. But anyways, they discovered that the iconic cedars that Pacific Northwest First Nations were famous for had come up from I think it was like Southern Oregon or something like that, and they spread north. But they arrived after people were there. So prior to that, people have been using other trees for all their needs, and so they were working on trying to figure out what they've been using things for. So it was really cool. But I was reading some random archaeology article, and it hit me hard. I was like, oh, this is super cool. I need to tell these people about that. And the reason I needed to tell them about it was because the article was about pre-colonial warfare in Oceania between all the different indigenous groups there. But one of the things that they practiced was girdling. And so what would happen is during an attack against a rival group, one component of their force would actually be involved in the fighting and combat, but there'd be a second group whose task was to go around and girdle all their fruit trees and all their trees that produced food and resources for them. And so what they would do is they would hack a section of bark all the way down to the wood and peel it off the entire center of the tree, and then destroy it. Because if you know anything about trees, that will kill them. There are very few trees that could survive that kind of event. And so basically they would attack, and it didn't matter if their attack went off perfectly or if their attack was successful. What mattered was that they had destroyed the resources that group had available to survive. So the likelihood of them being forced to move on was much higher. Or if they wanted to continue battling, continue fighting, they would have less resources to do so with. And the archaeologists I showed this to, they were just like, that is. It was. They said it was both terrifying and made absolutely perfect sense, and it does. When you're fighting in that type of conflict. But wow, yeah, it was. Stuff was wild. It was super cool information coming out of work with the indigenous peoples of that area. There we go. So now our cranes are both feeding down onto this little platform. Nice. There we go. I like that a lot better than the old system that was there. Those little blocks did not fit the aesthetic. And I made 500 changes without saving. I'm going to hit that save button. Okay, so up here we're going to place a tower of some sort. Do we have towers? Fortifications. Desert fortifications. Here we go. Yeah, please. Gotta protect the resources. And there were some awnings, I think. I'm going to put an awning off of that. That one doesn't work as well. fit either. That works pretty well. There we go. Driver shades versus palm trees. Okay, now they had those. I wanted to experiment. Where was it? Wooden boards. No. Piles of sand. Definitely add some of those. That'll be a later thing, though. Desert plaza. Desert platform. Yes. Okay. There we go. Let's go like that. And this could click on, I guess. Move it up a layer. Then can I? Oh yeah, you can kind of wedge that together. Okay, you can do that too. I'm going to stick with that for now, but that's an option that's nice to know that we have. Where's the other desert stairs? Those desert stairs. Oh, there we go. Select both. Oh. There we go. Well, actually, that looks a little bit better. I wish there was a rail on both sides, though. Maybe there's something I could add. I'm not even sure how to use. Like, what's that supposed to be used for? Oh, I guess for create. Yeah. Oh wait, no, it says desert platform. So, okay, I think I understand. It's for like building your own building. I think. Who knows? That doesn't really fit. shrink it down. Oh, well, that works. Command C, Command V. And let's move down a layer. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to file that under, using stamps creatively there. So I like that. That's a much better approach to go up to the tower there. And let's go to the catalog. I believe there's some blue crystals in this somewhere. And I want to use those. Make the place look a little magical. Nope. Maybe use some market stalls too. We'll see. That'll be before I get to the market district. Crystal. Magic. Maybe it's under watercolor battle maps. Okay. Well, first time we've had to come into battle mats. Won't be the last time either. Artifact. That's just all just labeled artifact. Monster eggs, nice. Summoning circles. There's no crystal in here either. Oh, there we go. These don't really fit too well, though. %, size. This is more of a 3/4 view, yeah. Let's go back into stamps with the catalog. Oh, is it regional HD? Yeah, oh, yeah, there we go. Blue crystals. You know what? That works. I can work with that. Let's crystal this place up a little bit. So, the thing about these crystals is even though they have an orientation, you can kind of make it work. Hey, I'm just going to send a message here quick. Oh, that's a big one. That's nice. I like that. All right. So yeah, even though they sort of break the top down, because as long as you don't put them like right against a wall or a perspective like this one at the bottom, as long as you sort of keep them top oriented, it can work. Hmm. See, so if I put it down there, it doesn't look quite right. If I put it up here, it's not too bad. Hit that save button again. All right. Mm-hmm. See how this is looking? Really cool. I like it. That one's a little bit too much for that location, though. See, what else can we do here? Shadow. Object. Okay. There. Interesting. So I believe I could actually put. Yeah, a few little shrubs around them. Drop that shouldn't even be there. Oh. That is interfering with the operation of the cranes. There we go. Desert fortifications. $100? Right, I adjusted it. Okay. And a boat. Everyone gets boats. Throw in a couple more. Throw in some more of these guys here. It has been a super productive day today. This has been really good. To adjust where those are. So that was the issue that I was running into when I was laying this stuff out previously, was that I had forgotten that whatever your layer is set to is going to be where it places all the stamps. So that's why all these things were set on highs, because I would raise something up and then go lay some stamps down, and it would boldly assume that I wanted all those stamps at the same height. So what I'm envisioning is I'm going to develop the a big merchant bazaar area down here, sort of away from the main city itself. And I'm going to have the trail come in and like meet something down here. I may have to expand the map again, which I know will mess up all the sizing that I have, but yeah. Oh man, I'm really liking this. This map has come leaps and bounds today. It's looking so much better. So all these nice little areas for people to live. That's up way too. Oh, that's -5. There we go. And okay, coming up on the end of everything. So let's see if we can find a home for a ziggurat. Want some sort of temple. Kind of want to put something like right there. There we go. Throw a couple of throw a few palms around it. All right. Let's hit the save button and let's review what happened today. All right, so make that small. Make that small. We've saved it. Fit to screen. Wow. This is miles past where we left off last day. So I did a little bit of shoreline modification up there, a little bit in here too. Got rid of that sort of sprawl area up here and replaced it with a bunch of different palm trees. We Got some biodiversity going with our palm trees, which is always good. Added a bunch of magic crystals because it's a magic crystal, or it's a magic high magic setting. And yeah, it's looking really good. I have a few concerns about the amount of roads, so I'm thinking what I might do is I may simply use it as a main route to link different parts of the. So I may do some road rejigging, which is kind of a giant pain, but it's getting a little busy. It's not too busy. Like if you're zoomed in, like at the size this map would be, which would be huge. Like you can definitely see the details. And it's not an issue, but it is pretty busy when you look at it from like try to take everything in. So that'll be something to be concerned about later on, though. And maybe I'll do a little experimentation with that next day. I really like what's happening up here. Pardon me. I love there's a lighthouse. Starting to get some little desert fortifications in, some strong points, which is how I imagine they're going to have to defend themselves. But yeah, overall, pretty good. It's been a lot of fun today. Talked some Cyberpunk. We all learned a lot about palm trees. I did not know there were that many options for things you could do or get from palm trees, which is really cool. And yeah, so I'm Graham. This has been your Thursday live stream of mapping. And thank you very much to everyone who's watching. Thank you very much to all my Coffee and Patreon fans for making this happen. Please consider supporting me on Patreon or Coffee. Please remember to like and subscribe wherever you happen to be watching, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. And you know what? I hope you all have a great day.